My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Casper. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But if you know me, you know one of my favorite genres of film is creepy kids movies. Movies like Coraline, Corpse Bride, Monkey Bone, Beetlejuice, the Haunted Mansion, Paranorman, just movies that are PG, they're not overly graphic or anything, but they've got a bit of an edge to them. So, this movie looked like it would be right up my alley, but that said, nobody ever talks about it, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I still think that this is a really good family gem. I really do. It's not perfect. I definitely got some issues, but I had a good time with it. So let's begin talking about the cast. And Christina Ricci, I think, does a real good job. When this came out in 1995, so just a few years after the Addams Family movies, and it's a very different character, and I think she does a great job. You've also got Bill Pullman, who is able to be goofy when needed, but he can also be serious when needed as well. So he's just able to be a really well balanced character, and I thought he did a great job. You've got Kathy Moriarty, who I thought was just so delightfully over the top, especially in the last act. I liked what she brought to this movie. Eric Idle, who reminded me of Martin Short, but he did a real good job as well. Very over the top, but in a good way. Malachi Pearson as Casper, I thought did a perfectly fine job. Joe Alowski, Joe Niporti, and Brad Garrett all bring so much life to their characters, so the entire cast is very strong. But the real star of this movie is the director Brad Sibling, because I think the craftsmanship is just top notch. Watching this movie just reminded me how much I miss this kind of movie. It's just so delightful in the best way possible. The production design and the way this house looks is just perfection. And even in the last act, they find a few trap doors, and just the way this environment feels alive is so perfectly done. I love how there's spider webs everywhere and how the place isn't clean, and it's just so impressive. It really is. And on top of that, I think the CGI in this movie is legitimately great. It holds up incredibly well, and it's the perfect mix between blending in with the movie style but also being very cartoony. I thought the music by James Garner was quite good. I thought the movie has some very funny moments. There's one scene where the ghosts have weapons in their hand, so they try to hide it by putting it behind their back, but because they're ghosts, you can still clearly see it. And there's plenty of pop culture references, which kind of reminded me of Aladdin at times. And I do think there's some great elements to this story about a father and daughter who just lost someone. I love how the dad hates the three ghosts at the start of the movie, but by the end they become friends. I love how there's a machine that can bring the ghosts back to life. I love how the villains are looking for a treasure. I love how in the last act the villains are arguing over who dies and gets brought back to life, and how the one chick does, and she comes back as a menacing ghost. There's so many great elements of the story, but I thought the climax was so underwhelming. Like, let's use Beetlejuice as an example. Well, you feel the stakes of what could happen at the end. You've got a movie like Aladdin. Well, Jafar gets the lamp and he becomes an all powerful sorcerer. You've got a movie like the Little Mermaid, where Ursula becomes a powerful sorcerer. You know, Around this time, kids' movies always found a way to kick it into the next gear by the finale. And this movie looks like it's going to do that, but it never really does, and it's just underwhelming, and it just makes some baffling decisions. Like when the evil villain comes back as a ghost, that should have been this moment where she becomes a powerful ghost. And no, she just kind of takes the chest, and that's about it. Like, eh, not really the most exciting stuff. I also hate how the dad dies in the most stupid way, only so Casper could make a sacrifice at the end of the movie. It felt very contrived. Like if the dad was killed by the villain and then Casper sacrifices his life to bring him back, that would have been much more satisfying, but it just felt very messy. And then throughout the movie, they kind of focus on the girl's school life, but not really. And there's this guy she likes, but he's faking being interested into her, and they're going to bully her, but then that doesn't really come into play. So, like, I don't know, like, so much of the last act, I just felt like throughout the potential. Like, I was loving this movie, and then it just kind of lost me for a bit. Even the mom coming back and Casper becoming a human for just a little bit, it didn't really work for me. It's trying so hard to be sentimental, but it just, by that point, I feel like I was already checked out and the movie was going on, and I'm like, the rules are so confusing right now, and yeah, so I still love so much of this movie. Once again, the production design, top notch. A beautifully crafted movie by Brad Sibirling. The performances are great. The movie is funny. There's some nice creepiness. There's some great aspects of the plot. I just wish it ended on a stronger note. So I'll give Casper a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Casper? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.